already know, man, it's Deion Dawkins, and you listening to the Real Deal Sports Show on the Beat 105.5.
Welcome to Real Deal Sports Show, coming to you live from the Rock Palm Broker Studios each and every Saturday morning from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. We're talking sports of all sorts, and we get it in every Saturday morning for you. And hey, we got a hell of a lot to talk about. NCAA, baseball, we got feuds going on, family feuds, the whole 9 yards. We're going to try to fit all of it in this time limit that we have for the next hour on the Beat 105.5. But first off, Rad Man Rants. I got to get something off my chest real quick. I told you his ass should have been ran after the 13-second game. Everybody knew it. You should have fired his ass. The guy should have been gone. You get a lead with 13 seconds left. How do you lose the game? How do you lose the game? Well, you do moves like Brandon Beane did this week, bringing back a fan favorite. He's on the billboards up here in the Rock. If you're in Rochester right now, he's on some of the billboard promoting automobiles. DeMar Hamlin. He just signed. I like DeMar Hamlin. Nice young man. Great. He had a medical issue on the field. Everybody knows about. He came back from that, won the comeback player of the year from our organization, the Pro Football Writers Association. We voted for him to be the comeback player of the year in 2024. And a nice story, nice guy. Nothing wrong with him. But can he play for another football team? Why are you bringing DeMar Hamlin back when you remember the last time we saw him last season? He played 5 games. He ruptured a tricep muscle in his chest, a tricep muscle. He was out for the year, which that's nothing to sneeze about. He was out. But when he played most of the games the previous year in 2024, the last thing you remember in 2024, how about when he gave that escort? He personally gave an escort to Patrick Mahomes into the end zone to put the Chiefs ahead of the Bills in that playoff game at Kansas City Arrowhead Stadium. Who can remember him holding the man by Patrick Mahomes by the shoulder and making sure no other Bill could tackle him? And he just helped walk Patrick Mahomes into the end zone for the go-ahead touchdown. Or how about the blown coverages that we've seen from this young man? Nice young man. I'm talking about on the football field. So for the owner, not the owner, but for the general manager, Brandon Beane, to bring him back, it's a head scratcher. He also brought back, of course, our favorite pitch man, Dawson Knox. Both of these guys are great at selling products, law firms, automobiles, you name it, plumbing, household tools. Man, if you need somebody to sell that, besides the Rad Man and our crew right here, you go grab Dawson Knox and you get DeMar Hamlin. Those two guys can sell any product you got. But on the football field, you got to be more like Howie Roseman. That's why I love Howie Roseman as the best general manager in the National Football League. He doesn't have feelings for the guys. He likes the guys, but hey, if he see you slipping or you're not producing, you got to go. He got to go. He got rid of C.J. Gardner after they won the Super Bowl. Gardner had 6 interceptions that season. He had one of his best performances as an NFL player with the Philadelphia Eagles, and it culminated in the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. What did Howie Roseman do? He thanked them. Hey, man, thank you. You had a great year, but you got to go. I got this young rookie. I want to put him in there. I don't have to pay him as much money. I'll put this rookie in there and take your spot. And C.J. Gardner left and went on to some other team. You can't keep guys. You can't keep everybody. Like the center. You can't keep the center, McGovern. You got a rookie center, Van Brent Granger, that was the center for the University of Georgia for 2 years in a row. Then he won a national championship. He's been with the Buffalo Bills for 2 years, and he hasn't seen the field yet as your starting center. And in the National Football League, he's on a rookie contract. He should be starting this year. McGovern should be gone. But McGovern came in bringing pizza pies to everybody at the press conference when he signed his contract, saying Josh Allen got involved and talked with the ownership and everything. And Brandon Beane, you can't have Josh Allen talking to anybody. Tell Josh Allen to stop fumbling the ball in the playoffs. We need you to stop turning the football over. We're going to work on getting you a better defense that can make stops in critical situations. We're not going to play that prevent defense that cost us the 13-second game and also cost us the Denver Broncos game in the playoffs last year. You got to have Josh work on Josh. You work on the roster. You know, if you could get rookies on the roster that can replace guys, replace them. That's why Howie Roseman is the best general manager in the National Football League, and you need to study and talk to him. And can you please stop bringing in Carolina Panther players? You just brought another Carolina Panther player in this week. our offensive guard. He's a good player. He's been around 9 years. We don't know how much he has left in the tank, but he's going to be part of the mix, trying to see who's going to replace David Edwards at the starting guard position. How about getting some fresh young guys? How about getting some top guys? If you can't get the top guys in the first two rounds, trade and get you some veteran guys that quality ball players. But don't just keep guys around just to keep them around because they're a nice guy, nice story, like the DeMar Hamlins, like the Dawson Knox of the world. You got to get rid of those guys. Go with the younger talent, because in the National Football League, it's all about winning on your rookie contract. You have as many rookie contracts as possible. You pay a few guys the big dollars. That's the formula to winning in the National Football League. And you really need to go study Howie Rosen and take a summer course from Howie Rosen or a winter course during the offseason. Go meet with Howie Rosen, because Brandon Beane, it seems like you still carrying the coffee and the donuts down there in Carolina. Oh, come on, man. You got to pick up your pace, man. Let's get the guys in. Real Deal Sports Show. I see J-GILLZ shaking his head. J-GILLZ, let's go to you right away, J-GILLZ. What's your commentary on the donut man and the coffee guy that was in Carolina? He's still acting like he's getting the coffee and the juice for the guys. What's going on?
Right, man, a phenomenal
for the gentleman, for the ownership. That's what he's doing now. I don't know who he's getting the donuts for up in Buffalo.
It's a great rant.
Maybe the construction workers that's out there trying to get this stadium together and get that graffiti off the walls. I don't know what's going on. Can you tell us, J-GILLZ?
Absolutely. It's a great rant this morning. It's only one piece that I'm not confident in what you said. You said that DeMar Hamlin is a good dude. Man, how many times have we ran into DeMar Hamlin and he stood us up? He showed us who he really was, man. He needs to go. We had personal experiences with DeMar Hamlin. He don't talk to the black media how he needs to. The support that he garnered during his situation. Come on, man. So that's the only problem that I got to say. Like, what's our slogan? We ain't telling you what we heard. We telling you what we know. And we know DeMar Hamlin behind the cameras.
Oh,
yeah, I forgot about that aspect. Yeah, he has blown us off a few times, man. I didn't even want to get into make it seem personal on that aspect of it. I wanted to get into his play on the field.
Hey, but gentlemen, it's internet passport here. But you have to remember, right now on the roster, we have Cole Bishop. All that safety. You have Cole Bishop, S.J. Gardner-Johnson. You end up having that second-year man, Jordan Hancock. And they also signed Geno Stone. So there's a chance that, let's not also forget Wade Owens and Sam Franklin. You know, Sam Franklin mostly just a special teamer. And we lost a couple of special teamers there as well during this offseason. So there's a chance that we may see Hamlin here through training camp, but he may not make that 53-man roster. At most, I think he will end up being one of those guys that end up on the practice squad. But on the final 53, unless Geno Stone stinks it up, unless Sam Franklin or injuries, then I don't expect to see DeMar Hamlin make the roster.
I hear you. I hear that.
J-GILLZ, if you thought he was blowing you off before, just you wait.
Hey, it's been seasons. This ain't nothing. It wouldn't be nothing new to me.
Yeah, gospel celebration. Now that I think about it, down there in Phoenix, that gospel celebration. I forgot.
We're talking 4 years. We're talking training camp after training camp after training camp. But who was the main one before the incident trying to talk to him and get him up? Black media.
Okay, yeah. I'm just saying, hey, good luck trying to get an interview with him now.
We'll send you at him at training camp this year, see if he can give you a few words, because he definitely didn't give us the time of day. Not at all. Not at all. So we'll see what happens as the world turns with the DeMar Hamlins and the Dawson Knox of the world, and see, hopefully, if this guy quit bringing in dead weight. We already know about what these guys can do and can't do on the football field. We need guys, younger talent, get younger, get more guys that fit, that can play, who are on their rookie contracts, where you don't have to pay them as much money. The Bills got to get younger.
I hear you,
you got to understand the cap situation. Yeah, the Bills are it's a little tough when it comes to the cap. Like you said there, Rad, man, we have to be able to draft and get some of these young guys onto the roster. I mean, because right now the Bills with the cap situation.
It's my finances.
We know flat purse. We know flat purse.
You're broke. Yeah,
The Bills are over there moving their broke, man. What do you think of bro talk, brother Bilal? What are your thoughts?
yeah. So I hear Radman and I hear J-GILLZ. J-GILLZ, even though it seems like he's a little in his feelings, what my thoughts are is this: when you're dealing with a small market team like the Bills, those smaller market teams, they're kind of in situations where they have to hold on to guys who do become those fan favorites and heartwarming stories. They got to hold on to those players a little more, or more than they might want to, and definitely more than what the large markets, city teams. In those larger markets, you can really be cutthroat about business because the fans really flock to those teams for winning. Smaller market teams, a lot of what we get with the Buffalo Bills is the fact that they're the only team out here in Western New York, and it's a lot of, hey, this our hometown team. We gonna ride with them. We gonna rock with them because that's who, that's our team. That's that's us. So if we don't have them, who do we have? So they have to hold on to those fan favorites a lot more often, than they want to. So as much as, again, I hear your point, and I think Internet Passport is right on time with saying there's a shot that he wouldn't make maybe in another situation, but when you're dealing with the small market team, once you got a guy who's and he's got his little heart symbol that he runs around with, and I got love for all of that. Those things, and I'm not saying this to diminish his actual on-field talent. On-field production is what Radman is really looking at and talking about. But when you have all of those other aspects and dynamics that draw in your fan base to the team, those things kind of they, for a small market team, those things impact whether or not guys make rosters differently than when they're in a larger market city.
And speaking of the rosters, the Bills, they also added a few more other players that they signed as well there. The Bills ended up signing a center, Lloyd Cushenberry, a familiar face, their next wide receiver, Trent Sherfield, and center guard Austin Corbett to a one-year contracts for all three of them. So it looks like they reinforced some of that offensive line after losing Kyle Vandermark. He was a restricted free agent, got tendered by the Vikings, so he left. The Bills then matched that. They added back a Trent Sherfield. He had a stint with the Bills back in 2023. More of another special teams guy because we lost some of our special teams players. And then interesting, one person I think he's going to fight for that left guard position that David Edwards left, that Austin Corbett. I think he has a good chance. But one thing Radman will say, these were guys that were, just some veterans. We know what they are. I would say, especially when it comes to Austin Corbett and Lloyd Cushenberry, both dealt with some injuries. So, you know what we're getting. But Radman, what are your thoughts when it comes to some of these additional signings that the Bills have made?
Crossbet, it could help out. He's durable. He played 9 seasons in the league already, coming off an injury. We'll see what he has left in the tank. Cushenberry played at LSU. He was a starting center for the LSU national championship team back in 2019. So Joe Brady was the offensive coordinator on that for that team. So he knows Cushenberry the third from there. But he's had a slew of injuries since LSU, including last year, tearing up the knee in week 5 or week 7, and he was done for the season. So he's rehabbing. He's coming back off of major injuries. So these guys are guys that are filling guys. But the problem I'm seeing, we're losing some of our younger talent. The teams around the league seeing, hey, Bills got some good offensive linemen, and they teams are plucking them up, are picking them up. And instead of Buffalo using those guys, moving them into those opportunities, these guys, the Vandermarks, the Richard Gurridge, some of these guys are going to be seeing them go to other squads because other teams are seeing what the Bills are doing. I was wishing the Bills would kept Reggie Gilliam would have been better than bringing back a DeMar Hamlin for this roster, because Gilliam did do a significant job. And you know, it's New England. Each year they pick somebody different off the Bills roster who they see is helping the Bills out a lot. They unsung hero type of player, and they bring them onto their roster. So, hey, if New England's watching.
New England, man.
I don't like them either, but they do a good job of scouting and picking up guys off the Bills roster who can benefit them right away. So the Bills got to do some work on that, and we'll move on over to the Cam Newton issue going on right now. Cam Newton and another former LSU, Ryan Clark, talk show host, got a very popular show. It seemed like the fur was flying. And J-GILLZ, who's this next segment brought to you by?
Our lady Diane over at Advantage Federal Credit Union, AdvantageFCU.org, auto loans, Visa cards, student checking accounts, and much more. As the spring break nearing, student checking accounts are gearing up. So definitely go ahead and check them out. Housing rates are dropping, loan rates are dropping, but everything else is going up except for at Advantage Federal Credit Union.
Yes, indeed. And one quick one, Challenger Community News, Western New York's largest weekly African-American newspaper. Pick up the paper. A lot of good articles in this week's Challenger. A lot of good business. Talk about the youth-led businesses in Rochester. Learn about those businesses in the Rochester area. Learn about the gospel connection, mother and daughter gospel singers. Learn all about it. Healthy foods. A lot of broccoli. All these green foods that you can eat. Healthy Matters, my favorite section in the Challenger. Read that section. Oh, man, they got a wealth of foods you should be eating for this spring season. All this green, all this broccoli, all this kale, all these different various items, green items that you should be consuming to help flush your system out and keep your body fresh and ready to run, ready to roll for this upcoming spring season. All in Challenger Community News. Send your editor at thechallengernews.com. Pick up the paper, Buff Chow News, BuffChallNews.com. Go for the website. Or you can pick up the paper at most businesses in the community throughout Rochester and all of Western New York. Now, gentlemen, what's going on with Cam Newton bringing Jason Whitlock? He brought the major villain on the show. I saw Jason Whitlock on Radio Row, and man, he did have security with him because man, people were looking for. Man, I said, hey, I don't even speak to him no more. I just see him come through. I said, oh boy, here he comes.
Funny thing about that, Rad, man, I saw Stephen A. at Shay Shay party. He had security with him too.
Hey, we have to set the stage, gentlemen. We have to set the stage. So essentially, what recently happened, it's for those who may not be aware, is that two journalists, reporters, content creators, Stephen A. Smith and Jason Whitlock, they basically don't see eye to eye. They have publicly said that they do not like each other. They said a little bit more than that, but I don't want to say that here. But recently, Cam Newton, who obviously who has his own show as well, was also on ESPN there with Stephen A. Smith. Someone who Cam Newton said that he respects is Stephen A. recently had Jason Whitlock on his show, 4th and 1 with Cam Newton, and they had a conversation because Jason Whitlock was critical of Cam Newton. But then you ended up having Ryan Clark coming into the mix. Basically sending a tweet out saying that he shouldn't have had him on the show. Quote from via X/Twitter, Ryan Clark says, if someone shows you love, has you on their show twice a week, at least, you don't bring his known enemy onto your show and allow the guest to talk crap about person. That's not G at all. Loyalty is at a minimum these days. So that ended up being a post there from Ryan Clark there. And so it seems to be a lot going on. And one thing that we learned was essentially from Cam Newton was this about the whole situation.
I don't give a what you think. Your thoughts ain't my thoughts.
We have learned that Cam Newton essentially said that your thoughts aren't my thoughts. It's my show, my platform. I can have whoever I want to have on the show there. And plus, we weren't even really talking about Stephen A. We were having a conversation why Jason Whitlock was critical of Cam Newton. But that ends up being the perspective there and my rehash. But I want to go over there to J-GILLZ and see what his thoughts are on the situation. Is it loyalty? Is it a stab in the back? Is it betrayal?
Man, first and foremost, I don't see how people are surprised that Cam Newton, I mean, just by the sheer number of baby moms he got, I think that he shows that he ain't the loyalist. You know what I mean? He keeps a lot of women. He ain't the most loyal person out there. He got a track record. He got different ones. So we talk about loyalty. I'm not surprised that Cam Newton. I didn't like it. You know what I mean? Totally understand it. Because especially in this media day and age, in this content-driven age, you know, you're going to bring people on your show to get the most views. To say Stephen A. hasn't done that is preposterous. You know what I mean? He's got a lot of friends in the industry, and he brings everybody on First Take. People don't like each other. You know what I mean? He says what he wants to say about people all the time. Kwame Brown and others. But to me, Cam Newton, knowing that, you know, to him to get his fresh start and one of his main core opportunities came from being on First Take, you know, every Friday night or every Friday midday with Stephen A. Smith. You have to have some sort of respect for that. You know, it's one thing to bring Jason on the show, but then to let him talk about him, let him slander him, let him bring him down. You know that that's what he was going to do. He's going to take every opportunity he can to go on there and talk smack and talk junk about Stephen A. To me, though, I think we're all blowing it out of proportion. Ryan Clark, we understand, you know, your sentiment, Ryan, but ultimately, like Cam said, that's between Cam and Stephen A. You know what I mean? Those are two men that's between those two. So he kind of had to, him jumping in it, to me, and Stephen A. don't need no grown man to defend him. Stephen A. is a grown man, he can defend himself. And Stephen A. is known for talking just as crazy about everybody else. He's friends with people, he brings everybody on the show. But Cam Newton, I hear you, but I think Ryan Clark was a little out of bounds for stepping into that one.
All right. Go ahead.
Yeah, because J-GILLZ over here talking crazy again. I hear you, you know, and to your point, you know, Cam can have whoever he wants on his show. Every one of us on this platform, right? When you share a platform with people, you have enough of a relationship or rapport. I can reach out to J-GILLZ. I have his personal contact. I can call Radman personally. I can call Internet Passport. I can call them directly. When you share a platform with folks, why would I need to put out a tweet? So as much as you know what I mean? If I don't agree with something that J-GILLZ says, or I want to, you know, I want to see, let me pull on Radman. I didn't quite understand fully what his thought process behind something he said or did was. Man, I reach out directly to them. And so that's my issue. That's my issue here. Cam, you can have whoever you want on your platform. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I respect that. You know, I have a hard, fast rule about people occupying space with me. If we cannot bring correction to one another or share our authentic thoughts or feelings with one another, then I don't need to occupy space with you because then that means I don't know if you really got my best interest at heart, because you're not going to tell me the truth. But there's a responsibility that I have to tell you the truth in a way that doesn't put you, you know what I mean, out there in front of everybody, right? Again, we have a relationship. Let me reach out directly to you. You have a relationship with Cam enough that you could have reached out directly to Cam and had that conversation. And that's my issue here is because what I respect that Ryan Clark will touch on or address issues that don't sit well with him. I respect that highly. You know what I mean? But if we're gonna say loyalty, if we, you know, he said loyalty was at a minimum these days, and that's not G. Well, what's not G is checking another grown man that you have a relationship with that you could have picked up the phone and called and had that same conversation with if that's how you felt about it.
Outstanding point. I agree 1,000%. I thought of the same thing when I saw the tweet. I said, wow, why? They've both been on First Take together at the, you know, several times. I've seen them all three of them on the show together. You should have said, well, man, why would you even have him on the show? You know, I would have had that offline conversation.
Exactly.
Offline. You put your business in the street and make it look like we disagreeing, that black men are having trouble disagreeing and getting all testy for the world to see. That I thought Ryan Clark was totally off base, and he should have at least talked to Cam offline and said, I never would have did it on my podcast. I never would have on the pivot. I never would have put Jason Whitlock on there, but he put him on there because it's his show. He can have any guest he wants. And I thought it was interesting with Jason Whitlock on him too. So it's like, wait a minute, hold on, man. I would have cut that dude. I said, hold up, man. Wait a minute now. You
don't find that suspicious?
Here's what I respect about what Cam said though in response to the tweet. I agree. Like you have, when you have a platform, right? Yes, you get to pick and choose who you will have and not have on there. And again, you have your autonomy to bring on there who you want to bring on there. I respect that. If he felt like whether again, you talk trash about me, we know you got smoke with Stephen A. and again the relationship that Cam has with Stephen A. But if I'm saying, okay, hey, listen, I'm gonna give you an opportunity, to say really here, come on here. If you want to face smoke, see, because when Jason Whitlock has often done it, he's done it on his own platform. Come on here and face smoke where you got to respond to somebody asking questions about it. I think that, to me, that's what I respected about what Cam said. He's like, yo, listen, come on here and face some smoke with it then.
Absolutely. We're going to get back to that topic later on. Very good comments, everyone, on that, because you were absolutely right. But we're coming up now. Our next guest coming up on this show, and we're going to talk. It's almost like, can you believe it's time for baseball, guys? Man, baseball's back already. Seems like football just ended, and now we're coming back to baseball. And we have with us now as our next guest, Dan Mason, Hall of Fame general manager of the Rochester Red Wings. Welcome to Real Deal Sports Show, Dan. How you doing this morning?
Great, guys. Thanks for having me today.
Great. Always glad to have you on the show. What can people expect when they come to the stadium this coming week for the opening day?
Fun. That's what we're all about, George, is making sure that fans come out here and they have a great time. It was worth their time and worth their money. That's our job as a front office here in Rochester, and it's our players' jobs, to entertain fans. And this year we've got, a really loaded team, at least to start the season.
Yes.
The Nats have done a great job in the offseason of supplying us with some really talented guys, many of them that were here last year. And a few new guys, but a lot of major league experience on our club right now. And we're really looking forward to this season. And we started out with a big win last night, big come from behind the Never Say Die Wings. We were down 5-1 and we battled back and won the game 8-7 against Jacksonville last night. So hopefully we get another big win or two down in Jacksonville today and tomorrow. And then we'll be back here for the home opener on Tuesday.
Absolutely. You owe the Jumbo Shrimp a beat down after what they did up here in Rochester last year at Frontier Field. Man, get the Jumbo Shrimp. It's time to, and their stadium is right across the parking lot from the Gator Bowl, which is also the home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I was there for the playoff game and saw they got a nice little setup there in Jacksonville for their minor league ballpark there, right across the parking lot. And a lot of construction going on down there. So that's excellent. Excellent that they're off to a good start. And Dylan Cease is back from the not Dylan Cease, but Dylan Cruz from LSU fame. Excellent LSU ball player. He's back with the team. Who are some of the other guys that they're bringing to Rochester?
Like our outfield, Robert Hassel, who spent time here last year as well as in the big leagues. Christian Franklin, who was here, he came over in a trade at the end of the year. Really good ball player. And Andrew Pinckney, who was our MVP. So those are our four outfielders. Dylan Cruz, of course, was the second overall pick behind Paul Skeens in the 23 draft and very big prospect. Yo-Yo Morales, who did a great job here last year for about the second half of the season after coming up from AA. He's our third baseman, Trey Lipscomb, who's been here up and down between the Nats and the Wings here for the last 2 years. He's back. Harry Ford, who is one of the biggest catching prospects in the game. He came over in a trade in the offseason from Seattle. He's our starting catcher. And Riley Adams, who's been our backup catcher, also a great bat to have in the lineup. He's been up in the big leagues most of the last couple of years. So, like I said, we have a lot of major league experience, both our position players as well as our pitching with guys like Mitchell Parker, Jackson Rutledge, Andrew Alvarez, guys that are really going to anchor our staff and do a great job for us this year.
That's people. You better come out early before you guys get called up, because that is a nice. You got a solid roster that could actually win the International League. If they gel, because they're very talented, very talented. Yeah. You're loaded right now to start the season for sure.
No doubt.
Guys, have a question, J-GILLZ or?
Yeah, just the Red Wings, staple in Rochester, innovative field, obviously a phenomenal stadium, the upgrades. The fans here have always been behind you guys, but it seems like this year you guys are pulling out even more. You know what I mean? Opportunities for the fans, bringing in Rick Ross, for example. What goes into just the marketing and switching it up this year and bringing in major artists? What went into that mindset?
Sure. I think we're always, our job is to, entertain fans, right? Whether that's for our 75 parties, which we call our games on our schedule a year, or other events. We host up to probably 40 to 50 other events over the course of the year. Because we want to make sure that ESL Ballpark is it's a community jewel, and we want as many different people to be able to capitalize on it and use it throughout the course of the summer as possible. So I got a call from a promoter, and he threw out some ideas, and Rick Ross was one of those guys that when he mentioned to me, my ears kind of perked up, and I was like, hey, what, and so we continued the conversation, and we're really excited about bringing Rick Ross here on July 25th. We've got Dark Star Orchestra coming back this year. They're a Grateful Dead band, and they're going to be coming back for the 9th time. They'll be here June 24th. We've got Greg Rousseau, celebrity softball game. So he and many other of the Bills will be here to play softball. The Bills offense is going to take on the Bills defense in a softball game. That's on June 7th. So all you Bills Mafia out there, you're going to want to be here for this. There'll be a home run derby prior to the softball game. And then at 1:00, the offense will take on the defense. So a lot of really cool events, and even a few more that are going to be announced shortly. So it's going to be a busy summer here at ESL Ballpark. Oh, also the Gus Macker 3-on-3 tournament, along with the city and YMCA, is coming back here on June 27th and 28th. So, like I said, it's going to be an action-packed season here, not just for Wings games, but a lot of other community events as well.
Good job, my brother. We rocking with you.
Don't forget the clean sweep.
Clean sweep. Yeah, May 2nd. Absolutely. So it's a great it's really a cool thing to see so many different people from our community coming together for one cause, right? And to make the music we love, that we love to work here. We love to play here. We love to go to school here. So it's a great way to just kind of, winter can be a drag, man. And it leaves a mess, right? And, you like just coming to work today, I saw all the stuff on the side of the road that those snowbanks leave behind, right? And so it's a great opportunity, and it's all our responsibility. It's not just, city DES or a couple of people here or there. It's everybody in our community should be in charge of taking pride in where we live, right? So to take just a morning to spend a few hours beautifying our community, it makes sense. And the city does an amazing job of organizing everything, but also making it worth people's time and worth people's money. Come down here at 8:00. You get free breakfast. You get a free T-shirt. You get free parking. Then you get your instructions. You go out and clean the city for a couple of hours. Come back here. You get a free ticket to the game that afternoon at 1:05, and you get a free hot dog and a free Coke. So pretty good deal for people.
Can't beat it.
Hours of sweat equity, but more importantly, it takes a village, right, to work together to make Rochester as good as we can make it. And we're really proud to be a host for this event again this year.
Absolutely. How can people get tickets for Red Wings games?
Give us a buzz at 423-WING, or go to redwingsbaseball.com, and you can check out our entire promotional calendar. We got all kinds of great events, giveaway items, people coming in to sign autographs, all kinds of great stuff at redwingsbaseball.com, and you can get your tickets there as well. And don't forget the home opener Tuesday, March 31st, and I guarantee it'll be 50 degrees. So get your tickets now at redwingsbaseball.com.
All right. Dan Mason, General Manager, Hall of Fame General Manager of Rochester Red Wings. Thank you so much for coming on Real Deal Sports Show.
Thanks for having me, guys. Have a great day.
You too. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, guys.
They got some exciting things happening at ESL Stadium for sure.
Absolutely. They certainly do. And the next segment is brought to you by award-winning Miriam Rivera Insurance Agency, Auto, Home, Health, and Life Insurance, 1038 Lyle Avenue, 511 Bean Road, Suite B. Give her a call, 585-360-0094. It's almost time to get those boats and motorcycles back out, so get ready. It's get your toys out. You get ready to get the toy. You're thinking about getting the toys out? Give our friend of the show, Miriam Rivera, and she can get you a good rate on insurance for those toys that you have. No doubt about it. And I know one last thing, too. If we're going out to eat, Jamaican Soul, Food for the Soul, 211 Genesee Street, featuring Soul Food Sundays, open noon to 9 p.m. on Sunday, and 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday. Check out Jamaican Soul, Food for the Soul. And if you want Indian food, where we going to go? Bilal, where we going?
We going to the award-winning authentic Indian foods place, Talia of India, in the Winjeff Plaza. Lunch buffet served 11:30 to 2 p.m. Dinner 4:40 to 8:30. 3259 South Winton Road in the Winjeff Plaza. Listen, Rap Man got there last week. Didn't even think about it, brother. Didn't call it. I said, Rap Man, call me when you go. Rap Man said, after church.
My bad, y'all, man. We threw it down, me and the missus out there, man. Had a great time out there. Come on out for that buffet, rated #1 in all of Monroe County. Check out Thalia of India for sure. 3259 South Winton Road in the Winjeff Plaza. And man, every time, here I go. Before we introduce this cat, let me tell you, I lost money again, first of all, the other night. And second of all, the Houston Cougars remind me of the Buffalo Bills. Everything got set up for them this year the way it was set up for the Bills. Houston playing on their home court at the Toyota Center in downtown Houston.
Wasn't the home court, not the home court. No, not the home court. No.
Well, to me, that's their home court. It's just a few blocks from the campus. The campus is it only took us 10 minutes to get to that campus for the taste of the NFL when we were down there doing Super Bowl week. It wasn't that long to get there. Chris Gardner, welcome, Chris Gardner. We got to welcome you to the show. What happened, man? Just when I thought they were going to do their thing, here comes adversity strikes once again.
That the worst shooting game of the season. You know, that happened. That's part of the tournament. It's one and done. It's not a series. It's not 3 out of 5, not 4 out of 7. They had their worst shooting night. I mean, the halftime score was 24-22, so it wasn't like either team shot the ball well. Illinois got hot early in the second half. The Houston Cougars didn't. They trailed by 18, made a little bit of a run, and didn't get it done. And that's how it is. That's what tournament life is, March Madness or March Sadness. And it was a lot of crying and tears in the locker room because, you know, these guys been together this season and it didn't get it done. I picked a team to win a championship this year because of the offensive potential that they had. But Thursday night, they could not make shots. No, they could not. They did not make shots. And that's it.
That's it. I guess you couldn't say a mouthful. And then the coach crying after the game about it. They don't have enough money for nil. What was he crying about? They don't have man. You got a quality team, man. You were rated #1. You should have won the game. And you talk about we don't have money to get the top. Well, who were the guys you had out there playing? They were top players.
No. This team is not a well-financed team compared to other teams in the tournament. They're not a well-financed team at all. They're not.
But
the top tier teams, they're not.
Be that
They
as
don't
it
have
may,
those funds.
They don't.
You know what they're saying.
It's my finances.
We know flat purse. We know flat purse.
You're broke.
be that as it may, was that the time to make that statement?
He's made it before. This is the first time I heard it nationally, but he's made it before. He said it was in the last month.
No, and again, I'm not disagreeing in terms of or in terms of his overall statement. I'm thinking what it says to those guys in the locker room who committed to this. You know what I mean? Given all they had to give to you this season, and I just think like after a loss that ends your season, I don't know if that's the time to make that statement.
But he said it nationally. The players know what they're working with here in Houston. The media that covers the team knows they're dealing with here in Houston. I can look at our advertising budget and directly know what I'm dealing with here in Houston. The lack of support we get on our shows, and we have to go with sprouts and beg and plead for people to support us, and then complain to us, well, why don't y'all go on road trips? Y'all don't support us. So what do you expect us to do?
Right. Oh, we get that same situation.
But the players, this was a good team. I mean, they got 2 one-and-done prospects, NBA prospects. It's different players, different tiers of players. You have to be a different kind of player to come play for Kelvin Sampson. And there are some top-tier players who want more money, and I'm not mad at them for that, asking for the bag. But then those guys do not produce the return on investment, and that's a thing now going forward for all these programs, top-tier programs across the country. If an alum, friend of the program, want to give you a lot of money to come to the program, you need to deliver. And if you don't, then the future players, well, I gave this player last year, we gave him $10 million, and he didn't give us past the second round. So what's going to make you different? So that's a thing for players, parents, the friends of the program. Okay, y'all got to deliver now on this, what we're going to do in investing in these young men and young women. And if you don't, are you going to give the money back? No. So it's a cycle now. This is what NIL is now. This is what it has created. The Cougar players are the guys who signed with 5-star players. They did not get a lot of money to come here because there were players who wanted more money who did not come here because they wanted more money and looking for money. And those are some of the top-tier players that Coach Sampson is referring to. There were other players that they wanted were out of their price range. So they're a price range. Their price range is not Duke. Their price range is not Alabama. This is another level to this that the Houston Cougars athletics is not part of.
Yeah, I see. Top Gun said, are you saying that money determines skill and ability of play?
Heck no. Not at all. But there are other players, and some of those players, all they want is the bag. They don't want to be coached hard. And some of those guys, they don't come to Houston because they're going to be coached hard. And there are some top-tier unsigned players who are still unsigned for 2 reasons. 1, their money, their bag was looking for has not been met. But 2, they don't want to be coached hard. So they're trying to see, well, where can I go get paid and kind of slide on in and do what I want to do and then go to the NBA.
Yeah.
That's the tough part because that's the tough part because I get both points in terms of that you just made that, and they're both super valid. In that space, you know what I mean? Kind of because to your point, this is kind of where NIL has us. How do you feel like the University of Houston moves forward? What's their path forward?
Oh, it hasn't hurt them. They got the best big man in the country coming in the recruiting class, but he and his people are not looking for the moon. That's what I'm saying. Houston's tier level is, okay, we're going to develop you, get you ready for the NBA, but if you are looking for $10 million, then we're not here for you. We're not for you. If you're looking for a certain amount, okay, we can agree on that. But if you want more, we can help you. That's just the way it is. And that's a part of what Coach Sampson is saying, because trust me, I've heard from some alums, one alum in particular, who has his eyes set on certain players in the portal. And I'm like, how are you going to pay for this? With what money? And some of these folks who have money, more money than common sense. Some of the players we're looking at are not Kelvin Sampson players. These guys, they don't want to be coached hard. There's a reason they didn't choose Houston in the first place. And so I'm like, what are y'all doing? Who do y'all think these players are? If you would spend time talking to folks who cover basketball, one who's a guest on today's show, and maybe spend time investing in him, her, and his friends, maybe you'd have a better idea what the hell's going on.
Ooh, he's coming in hot there, man. Chris Gardner, man, Houston Round Ball Review. And one thing that you're hinting on, and I think probably over the next 5 years is going to come to a head. There was even a report coming out of Kansas stating that now that schools and they have GMs for their athletic programs, for their major programs, is getting all this NIL to its players, to their employee athletes, that now even teachers, professors, they're now looking at, well, how is some of this money going to get reallocated to the rest of the school? You have some schools that are working in a deficit with NIL. Well, you could have a young, not even old enough to drink student pulling up there in a BMW. You still got the new professor there pulling up in the Honda Accord. Now, I like a Honda Accord, but you get my example.
Right.
And so now I think this is going to eventually, in my opinion, the internet passport is going to come to a head where it's going to be some type of epic pushback where they want to have what? I'll say it one more time, a salary cap. I'll say it 3 times, Dr. Umar, a salary cap. So I just want to know your opinions on that and how NIL has changed the game and affecting people that you want to have. And one aspect that you're saying there, people used to go to some of these universities and want to support these players because they had pride in the institutions. Now everybody is just an employee. I heard some people say they're just mercenaries. They get that one deal or they just go to the highest bidder. What do you think is going to be the future is going to happen with organizations and even how student staff of these legendary blue chip schools is going to end up, changing the game when it comes to men's basketball?
And I think we all agree on this part. It's not just players. It's not just the parents, coaches. Hello, Mr. Will Wade. How are you today, sir? Bounced around, went from one school, going to get a paycheck, going to now LSU, got a raise. No shade on him. You can call him a mercenary. So there are coaches who do it. There are politicians who do it. There are players who do it. You have to know what you're getting yourself into. So LSU, you're paying Will Wade a lot of money. Don't be surprised when he doesn't win and get you what you want. He'll start looking elsewhere because he's done it before. Players, they want to be, politicians on one side do not want to consider them employees because they don't want to have collective bargaining. So they want to continue calling them student assets. Oops, my bad. Student athletes to keep them pigeonholed to not have collective bargaining. So that's one thing politicians are trying to hammer out. Well, we don't want to have this, or we don't, because they hate collective bargaining. They hate unions. They don't want anything to do with that. So that's going to be a problem right there. Politicians are getting involved. Politicians getting involved in stuff they should not be involved in because the NCAA failed to get this done 10, 15 years ago. So now, please, politicians, save us from ourselves because we couldn't get it done in years past. So please, please, please help us, whatever. That's also part of this as well. But there are certain players who don't want to go to school. That's not a shock.
No,
who rather not go to college, but they have to because the 1 year in the NBA rule, you have to be out of high school for at least a year before you can go to the draft. That hurts some of these kids. Some of these kids do not. Education, what? Huh? I gotta go. Why? I want to go pro. That's all I think about. I want to go pro.
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on that aspect of it? The 1 year rule.
It is not for everybody. There are some very, very, very rare instances when a player is physically and really mentally ready straight out of high school. That's a very, very rare case.
And what about the people going from school to school to school, like the Stolovic? I just watched Illinois, and they were talking about him. He was at Cal Berkeley, then he went to Stanford, and now he's at Illinois. I mean, shouldn't it be something? They seem that they need to institute a rule where you can only make maybe one change during your 4 year of eligibility, or maybe 2 years, depending on the circumstances. Maybe you could change schools twice during your 4 years of eligibility.
This is where I kind of still sound like an old man on get off my lawn kind of thing. I don't like people transferring every year after year. Things get hot, you want to leave. I didn't get enough playing time this year. I want to leave, go somewhere else. There are kids every year. They're at a different school. I don't like that at all. I'm okay with, and I accept transferring one time without having to sit out. I'm good with that. You could maybe get me to accept it twice, but every year, somebody's getting back to Houston. There are some kids in the portal out of high school. We've been to 4 different schools in 4 years. No. What is that? Part of that's being mercenary. Part of that is he wants the bag. I don't like that. Those kind of players, to me, when things get hot, when adversity hits, they bail. They don't want to push through.
But it's consistent. Like, I do a lot of youth work, and it's consistent with what we see. I mean, from if you're looking at the Gen X and millennial generation, like, and especially the baby boomers, boomers would get jobs and stay at them for 40 years. That's just not what we see with Gen Z and Gen Alpha. 4 years, if you're lucky, right? And so if they feel, and a lot of it has to do with when they've done the data and the research on it, is if I'm not making what I feel like I'm worth, then I'm out. So so when you talking about this NIL kind of aspect of it, if they're not getting what they feel like they're worth, they're out. And then two, I realized for me that if Lane Kiffin can do what he did, then I can't be mad at an athlete for
I accept that too.
Exactly.
I can't be mad at an athlete because we don't have the same. We would have to apply the same kind of restrictions or dynamics to coaches as well.
But the overriding thing with LSU is for their professors on campus. If I'm every professor, don't tell me I can't get a raise. Y'all have the money for athletes. You got money for the coaches. But when I tell me and my professor colleagues come up to you for a raise, I've been here 30 years, 10 years. Well, we don't have the money.
Yeah, that's not right.
We have a budget crunch. Whoa, what?
But then you do what these athletes do. I say, okay, I pick up the phone. You UCLA or whomever, right? We hitting the portal.
Because some of the politicians are saying, well, if they're athletes, then it's going to cost the schools more money to collective bargain. And then my response is, but y'all have the money for the coaches. You have the money for the coaches to pay them $95 million over 9 years or 10 years. You got the money to pay the players. So don't cry poverty when you're giving all the money to everybody else.
Exactly. Right. If you're going to institute these rules there, I just want to get in here real quick, Rad, man. If you're going to go ahead and institute these rules on these young men and women, do the same thing for these coaches. Like I always say, it was a fun fact at one point that Coach Saban for the Alabama Crimson Tide was the highest paid public official. Keyword public. That's taxpayer money. And then if they want to leave, they could go ahead and get bought out with some of that money if they want them to leave. You mean you're getting paid to be fired, but a tenured professor? But these players here, if who's putting their bodies on the line, by the way, I was like, they can't get the money either. So I'm all for trying to maybe institute some rules or structures. But first, you got to look at these coaches and these GMs and these staff members first, in my opinion.
There you go.
The salary cap is a great idea. Yeah. Until somebody tries to exceed the salary cap.
Yeah.
So we do a salary cap, they're going to come in back through the back door again.
Right.
Man. Coach O said it best. Before we have to wrap up here, and remember to like, comment, subscribe to Real Deal for Sports Show on YouTube and Facebook. Back in the day, they used to come in with the bag through the back door. Now they're just coming in through the front door. If there was rules coming back, they're gonna go back through the back door.
That's a fact. Hey, you gotta get in where you can, man.
They bring you money through that back door, BacSpin. You top DJs in the country.
I mean, nah, we get the money in the front door, man. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no backdoor politics when it comes to this DJ thing, man. For real. Great show, fellas. Great show. Y'all definitely enlighten us sports fans here in the ROC and beyond, because the show is worldwide. All you got to do is download our app and take us wherever you want to go. So appreciate you, fellas, man. Y'all have a great weekend. You heard?
Much love, BacSpin.
Hey.
Sir, yes, sir. Keep it where you need it. That's the Real Deal Sports Show every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. right here on the Beat 105.5. Rock City. Don't go nowhere, man. We got more classics on the way inside of the Back in Time Mix Show. You already know how we do. Rock City, rock with me. You know what it is. The Beat 105.5, baby.
Stay with us, Chris.